Now, the government has offered junior doctors in England a 22% pay rise over 2 years. It's hoped that it could end the long-running strike action.
The British Medical Association has agreed to put the offer to its members, and we're joined now by the organisation's deputy chair, Dr Emma Runswick. Morning to you.
Good morning.
So, what do you think of this offer?
We think it's a reasonable offer, and we're recommending that members vote for it. It's not pay restoration, but it is a step towards that. Over the 2 years, 22.3%. That means 4% last year, and then the DDRB recommendations this year, which are about average 8%. It will put us in a position where newly qualified doctors currently earning £15 an hour will earn about £17.60 an hour. It's not the £20 or £21 an hour we were seeking, but we think it's a good step.
Yeah, and that was a 35% increase that you're asking for, wasn't it?
It's a reversal of pay cuts that we've had. So having been almost 30% down or over 30% down, we're now, if this offer is accepted, going to be about 20% down compared to 2008 for RPI.
Just explain that pay cut element, because a lot of people will say right now everyone's facing a squeeze on their incomes. The cost of everything is going up in real terms. We've got less cash in our pocket. Why are doctors any different?
Doctors have faced much more severe real terms pay cuts than most groups in society, including especially amongst public sector workers. The real terms pay erosion has been caused by mostly pay freezes against inflation. And that's meant that over time, we've had a series of real terms pay cuts that led us to only a couple of years ago be down about 30% compared to 2008 on RPI. This change is a positive one, but it takes us back to about a 20% cut.
I'm interested that in your first answer you used the word step. You know, this is a step on the way. Will 22% make everybody happy and resolve everything?
I don't think it will. We're in a position where in Australia and Canada and Ireland we can earn double, 70% more than we do in the UK, and many of my colleagues have left. I don't think that yet this will be a change that will bring people back, but it might be a step that encourages people to stay, because it highlights a shift in approach from this government. I mean, in the previous government we had a series of stalled talks, an offer that excluded all of our colleagues who were on non-standard contracts, that left some of us still behind inflation just this year alone. Now we have something that uplifts the pay of every junior doctor in England, and will take us a step closer towards being valued the same as we were in 2008.
How were those negotiations with the new government? Because we're 3 weeks in to this new government, and it seems that a deal has been done very quickly, something that maybe escaped the previous government. What's different?
The difference is the speed at which they are taking place and the political will. Streeting rang us on the first day of the new government, and then we've had extensive meetings last week, many hours, multiple days. We never had that kind of approach from the previous government because their political interest wasn't in this. This time they really wanted to get this offer into the fiscal statement yesterday, and that's what they have done. Did
they just cave in, though? They just said, OK, you can have what you want?
Not at all, because what we wanted was £20 or £21 an hour for newly qualified doctors. This will get us £17.60 an hour for newly qualified doctors, something that is, I mean, our whole demand is more than reasonable. We hope that members will accept this and we can take those steps. There are some other changes in the deal as well around overtime, around the way that we train. We rotate between rotations, between training posts. So we hope that this is acceptable to members, and that's why we've put it to them.
We know there is an ongoing dispute also over the contract for GP services, with a proposed strike coming on Thursday this week. What's the status of that?
So it won't be a strike from GPs. GPs are making a series of changes that enable them to practice safely. GPs have had a huge number of cuts and transfer of workload into general practice, predominantly from secondary care, where secondary care is in collapse, and therefore we put additional workload on GPs, they're looking at actions like limiting the number of people that they see each day. Many GPs see more than 50 people a day. They will be working more than 12 hours a day. They are seeing huge amounts of work from secondary care. They are looking at a variety of actions that keep patients safe and enable them to control their workload until they get a contract that suits them and suits the profession and suits patients, so that people can see their family doctor when they need to.
Do you worry that this sets a dangerous precedent? You've got something close to what you are asking for. You've got the pay rise. Do you worry that by the government agreeing to your demands to try to stop strike action, this just sends a message to all other public sector workers that actually, if you don't like what you've got, go on strike and you'll get it, which actually could be detrimental to other public sector workers too, and public services?
I don't worry at all. I think it's really clear that doctors have won this shift from this government through strike action, and I think it demonstrates the power that trade unionism can bring.
But is it go on strike and you'll get what you want? That's the point I'm trying to make.
I think that's what's happened here. We have taken, we've been in dispute now almost 2 years. We've taken 11 rounds of strike action. The membership, doctors, have demonstrated their value. It's been really costly for the NHS, and it's been incredibly disruptive to patients, none of which is something that we wanted. It could have been entirely prevented by negotiations like we've just had this week, right at the beginning in October 2022. But unfortunately, if you have an intransigent government, then strikes are the way to improve your offer.
Good to talk to you. Thank you, Dr. Emma Runswick. Really nice to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.